Tell me what's your name?
Doug Green.
Doug Green. And what made me notice you first was the Constellation ad. So you actually served on the Constellation?
Yes.
And so when did you get out of the military?
1968.
And then you told me that you started driving a truck, right?
Yep.
So how did that all come about? Was it right after the military?
Yeah, pretty much. I had two brothers that were truck drivers that didn't serve in the military. One had a heart murmur, and the other one got married before they ever come along with the draft, so they both missed it.
Right. And so you ended up driving a truck. Now, who'd you drive for first, a small company or a big company?
Just a small company, and then I bought my own truck, and I had it for 31 years.
Okay, now that's the thing that lots of folks ask me about. They're like, well, what does it take to get your own truck? Y'all can go ahead, don't worry about us.
Lots of money.
Lots of money.
They're a money pit.
Now, how long did you drive for somebody else before you got your own truck?
About 6 years.
About 6 years, okay. And then what made you decide? You just felt like you were ready, or you had saved up enough money, or?
Both.
Both of them, okay. And so when you first started with your own truck, was it easier or harder than you expected?
Oh, it was what I expected, but it was a whole lot easier than it is now. You didn't have near the regulations that you do now.
Right, but for the good new guys, they don't know that, so they really won't feel it.
No.
Right, because you started out with less regulation, but the new guys are brought up in it. So right. So what would you say to somebody who was a military guy who was thinking about, well, maybe I want to drive a truck for a living?
It's a good occupation. Traffic's kind of terrible now, but if you're young enough, you can handle it.
No, were you local or over the road?
No, over the road.
You were over the road. And how did that affect family?
Well, I got divorced after 15 years. It takes a good woman to be married to a truck driver.
I've heard that. I've heard that. But I guess it's the same in the military too, right?
Exactly.
Because you were at sea a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah. And, you know, I'd been used to traveling since I was 17 years old.
Right.
And it was just a way of life, you know, that
right.
It was interesting. It was something new every day. I know you've heard the expression, looking at the world through a windshield.
Right.
And the things I've seen, I probably wouldn't have got to see ordinarily working in a factory or whatever.
Right,
you know.
right. So you would say that it's definitely something for a serviceman to think about when he's getting out. I know now that they can get their training in 4 weeks, right? And now the companies, it's 4 weeks, about 4 weeks, and their VA benefits pays for it. And now even the companies are reimbursing them for their expenses, and there's such a shortage of drivers, which I don't know if you're aware of since you've been out there.
No, I'm aware.
Yeah, there's a big shortage, so they're guaranteed to get a job.
I'll be 70 this year, and I could still go back and drive if I wanted to.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So it's something that you can use, even if they decide to do something later on.
As long as you can pass the physical, yep, you can do it.
They can keep driving. Well, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Thanks for your service.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
And if you drive a van or a flatbed, yeah, but if you don't mind being alone, it's great.
Okay. So tell me some of the positive sides, and then tell me some of the things you didn't like a lot. So tell me a few of the positive things.
The positive things is you get to run all 48 states and see different parts of the country. The worst thing is pretty much being alone, unless you don't mind that. But
how long you been driving?
8 years.
Oh, great. If someone right now is making $8 an hour, but they can make $14 or $15 an hour, that's a big difference for them.
Well, yeah. I mean, running the road, it's basically cents per mile, and you can make some money if you do long runs.
Right.
Local jobs are hard to find for new drivers. They want you to have over-the-road experience and everything else.
Ford tractor trailer. Now, what we have found is if we put them in a dump truck, they can get a job tomorrow. Yeah. So, you know, and they're making $17, $18 an hour driving a dump truck.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, I just wanted just a few words from you about driving, but you're still driving, right?
No, I'm still driving. I own my own.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how long was it between the time you started, that you got your CDL until you owned your own rig?
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah, I was a company driver, and then I decided, forget driving for somebody else. I'm just going to drive for myself.
Gotcha.
A rig.
Cool. Well, appreciate the comments. Thanks.
No problem.
It's okay?
I love it.
You love it.
I love it.
See, that's what we like to hear. You love it.
Yeah.
All righty. So, how'd you get started doing it? I mean, you just woke up one day and decided I'm going to drive a truck, or?
No, you know what happened? when I was little, I had the Tonka toys, the Tonka trucks, and I used to practice backing between chairs and stuff with the Tonkas. And so I got into gardening, right? So I did gardening for 18 years, and so I was working for the junior college in D.C. And so they had to downsize, so they offered me a little bit of money to retire, to come out, right?
Right.
So I did that.
Now, so this is one of the things that we really want to know for our soldiers and Marines and all them who want to drive a truck. So tell me some of the good stuff about truck driving, and then we'll get to some of the stuff that you would wish was different. So what's some of the good stuff?
Oh, just traveling. Going from city to city, state to state, you know, just seeing, because I was raised in Washington, D.C., right? And I had never been anywhere but from D.C. to North Carolina and maybe New York. And then I got into truck driving, man. Now I done been from here to California, Texas. I done seen the Grand Canyon. I done seen the Blue Ridge. I done seen the Mississippi River. I done been up to Minnesota and seen all the Great Lakes. I mean, just seeing all these wonders, God's creations.
Right,
put it
right.
to you like that. And you know, I'm not big on cities. I just love the natural landscape.
Right. Now you drive by yourself or with somebody?
Yeah, I'm a solo driver.
Okay. Do you like driving by yourself more than with somebody?
Yes, because I'm selfish. I want my truck to myself. I'm sorry about that. Because they try to get me to train, but I'm very particular. I love a nice, clean, neat truck. And I keep it like that, man. I just like being by myself.
Yeah. Now, tell me one or two of the things that might make it a little bit tough for somebody if they're not used to it. What's kind of, what are the things that you wish were different about truck driving?
Sometimes my dispatcher don't get me home when they supposed to.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
You know, that's about the only thing I don't like about it.
Right.
I wouldn't recommend a married man with family to be over the road. I mean, you know, if you got to have a really stable relationship, because I hear a lot of truck driver stories about the wives and you know the family life and stuff like that.
So it's sort of like a sailor at sea. You're going to be gone, and
exactly,
and you got to be strong, so things stay strong while you're gone.
And your family has to be strong. Your wife definitely has to be strong. You know, so but it can work.
Right.
But you know, you have to get that understanding.
Sure.
You have to. You know.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you talking to us about truck driving.
Honestly, it took me the majority of my time to start liking it.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I got a bus going by. Let me ask you that again. So how do you like it?
It took the majority of my time to start liking it. It took 20 years before I started
really?
liking it. Yeah.
Well, tell me about that. What is that?
Well, I wound up in different positions in it. I ran the road for a while. Line haul at nighttime.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. You wind up a lot of times you'll either get the layover or you'll wind up with what we call a mini break.
Right.
Where you go from one terminal to another terminal, unload the trailer, reload the trailer, bring it back. And it really winds up early morning hours coming back in, and the sun's first coming up from the worst time.
Really?
Fatigue setting, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, if you were going to do it differently, would you do anything different? When you first went in, would you have made different choices or job choices or anything? Or
I think if I was going to do it differently, when I was in the military, I was in it during peacetime, so you don't get to choose that stuff.
Right, right.
So I think I was going to do it differently. I may have stayed in the military and tried to finish my career out in the military.
Really? Well, all of us that were in there didn't stay for to retire. We wish we would have. Now, in terms of truck driving, if someone's getting ready to start driving, right? What are some of the things, if they're in school, what are some of the things they should be thinking about before they get out of school?
If they're intending to drive, I think they need to take a local pedal job first.
Say that again.
What would be a local job peddling freight?
Okay, so if they're going to go in, they should start with a local, because you know a lot of people say, well, you know, you're going to have to drive long haul for a year before you get to choose what you want to do. But you're saying that they should start local first.
Yeah, I mean,
like on a box truck or on a combination.
What we do in local business, in the LTL business, what we call the LTL,
okay,
less than load. That would be your roadways, Yellows, FedEx,
okay,
UPS freight. What you do is you'll have a line haul driver that'll come from one terminal with the freight, bring it to the terminal you work at. They'll strip the trailer, put it on a local trailer like Charlottesville. We have a Charlottesville run. That driver will come to Charlottesville, pedal the freight off, deliver all the freight, and then go around and make pickups.
Okay.
It's all daylight.
So can a new green driver do that?
If he's got a CDL, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's got a CDL. And that would be the way to go, because, you know, to go straight out there and hit the highway and try to stay up at night when you're not used to it, for one thing, you need to see what you're getting into before you try that.
Right. Now, so what about family? I mean, what's been your experience in terms of how's the impact been on your family?
Not good. Not good in any part of trucking. It's I came in at 8:30 this morning. Be lucky to get off by 8:30 tonight.
Okay.
You know, family's either in bed when I get home or they're going to school when I get up.
So it's a lot like military service. I mean, if like, you know, those of us that were in the Navy that were out to sea for 9 months, a year at a time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You know, my dad, he ran coast to coast for Morton's Frozen Foods for 37 years. I said the last thing I'll do would be a truck driver. So,
really?
Yeah, they say after that diesel fuel gets in your blood, it stays.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it now. After the many years of the tug.
Are you still doing local?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it used to be very stressful, but you have to learn how to deal with the stress. What I think the whole key to everything is, you know.
That's life. That's life. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right.